Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasa Gocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraye Bhishta Siddhaye Arthato Pyadvayanandan Ati Tadvaita Bhanatah Guruna Radhya Vedanta Saram Vakshe Yathamati. Hari Om. We had seen the part of adhyaropa being completed. The main purpose of adhyaropa was how can many effects come from that one cause? Effects are many, but cause is one. So when I look at the effect, I should be able to shift attention to the cause. So much so that when I look at the effect, I should be able to say, this is nothing but the cause appearing differently. So I might see, this is an example, I might see a plate, a pot, a cup, a jar. No matter how many names and forms are there, if I've understood all of that is clay, the statement I will make is, this is nothing but clay appearing in a different form. I might see a garland, I might see a snake, I might see a crack on the earth. But if I know the cause of all of these, I will say this is the rope alone appearing as all different effects. In the same way, if I've understood this world of names and forms, the absolute cause is Brahma. So the sadhaka will say, this world is nothing but Brahman appearing differently. If that much happens, then adhyaropa has started working for us. That whenever I see the effect, I should be able to shift attention to one cause. Effects are many, but the cause is one. Now going from one cause to many effects, that was part of adhyaropa. Apavada is to go backwards. From many effects, going step by step to that one absolute cause. That is a part of Apavada, where we start from varieties of names and forms, nama rupa, but then we go one step at a time, go all the way to Shuddha Chaitanya. Now somebody says, why can't I directly jump from world of names and forms? Why can't I directly say everything is Brahma? Why do you need intermediate steps? So in Vedanta it is said, if we directly keep saying, I am Brahma, without knowing the intermediate steps, without knowing systematically how this is being said, I am Brahma will become some kind of upasana vakya. Upasana vakya means this person has faith that I am Brahma, and he is repeating this because of whatever he has heard, in that he has faith. So for example, if somebody says this Shaligrama is Bhagwan Vishnu, in that statement, if somebody has faith, they will keep on repeating that statement, worship Shaligrama as Bhagwan Vishnu. Even if there is no knowledge of how that Shaligrama is Bhagwan Vishnu, it is still okay. Because that is an Upasana Vakya. You will keep repeating it on the strength of Shraddha. But when it comes to Aham Brahmasmi, that statement is not Upasana Vakya. One has to know the steps, one has to systematically understand how I am that Brahma, and then come to appreciate Mahavakya. It is just like whenever we have a math problem, there are different steps, right? From point A to point B, and then they say find the value of X. Now on the back side of the book, there are answers given. We can directly say that this is the value of X, but that will not make a person understand mathematics. Right? So if I directly say I am Brahma, that is like looking at that answer. So every step has to be understood. That is where the beauty is. Now, when we have to do this, it is just like adhyaropa, one part was doing it on paper. Means verses of Vedanta Saar did adhyaropa. But we also saw to do adhyaropa in our thinking, in our understanding, that is a different sadhana. The same applies for Apavada also. So in next 5 verses, Apavada is going to be done. If possible, whole thing will be completed in one class. But for us to actually do that Apavada in our understanding and benefit from this knowledge that there is only Shuddha Chaitanya, nothing other than Chaitanya here, that requires sadhana chatushtaya. And this portion of Apavada, it comes in several places, even in devotional texts. In Bhagavatam, almost every other chapter, every other skanda, you will have Apavada Prakriya. And the beauty of Bhagavatam is, even sadhanas are given a little bit to show how this Apavada Prakriya can work more closely. So this particular Apavada portion comes in Uddhava Gita also. It comes in several places. Bhagavan Krishna is telling Uddhava now. He is going to say how this creation sequentially merges back and finally ends in that Shuddha Chaitanya. He says, Paraswabhava Karmani. This is sadhana to Uddhavji. Right before he begins the chapter, he says, Uddhavji, if you do this particular adjustment, Apavada works better. Paraswabhava Karmani na prashansen na garjayet. Paraswabhava means some other person's swabhava. One should not praise, one should not criticize. Na prashamset means if there is some good thing, don't keep on praising it, overly praise it. Na garjayet, nor criticize something that you don't see good in another person. Vishwam ekatmakam pashyan. Why? He says our goal is to see ekar. From manyness, we have to go to that one truth. If we get stuck in good and bad, if we get stuck in nama rupa, tattva vichara will never happen. Vishwam ekatmakam pashyan prakritya purushena cha. Even if you look at it from Prakriti standpoint, all of this variety has come from that Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya only. From Maya alone, this entire creation is born. Why get caught up in analyzing something within Maya? That is his message. So if somebody does prashamsa, overly does prashamsa or goes into garjayet mode, garhayet, garjayet is different. Garhayet means one who is criticizing. He says both of it will not help. Okay, so Apavada Prakriya is there. All it needs is sadhana chatushtaya, a calm mind. And with that mind, even if we understand the verse, the process of thinking in this way itself is nididhyasana. Process of thinking about every step of Apavada, that thinking process itself will become meditation. Okay. Let us start. 137. Apavado nama rajju vivartasya sarpasya rajju matratvavat vastu vivartasya avastunaha ajnana dehe prapanchasya vastumatratvam. What is apavada? Apavado nama rajju vivartasya sarpasya. Of that snake which is vivarta. Vivarta word, let us keep it like that because it will be explained in next verse. Okay, rajju vivartasya, that snake which is vivarta of rajju. It is appearing differently, but really speaking, it is rajju only. A rope appearing differently as snake, negation of that snake, and finally coming to that rope alone. This is called as apavada. Rajju vivartasya sarpasya rajju matratvavat. Just like after negating the snake, what remains is only the rope. In the same way, vastu vivartasya, vivarta of vastu. So vastu here is Atma, Shudh Chaitanya. Vivarta of that is avastu. What all things are there in avastu? We saw it in adhyaropa, starting from Agyanam all the way until several Brahmandas. In that, this Sthula Sharira is also included. See, after studying Vedanta Saar, our thinking should be like this. It will come later also. Whenever I say Sthula Jagat, I should not only think about this world that I am seeing around. It should be all 14 worlds, including this physical body and all other types of shariras. Okay. So, avastunaha ajnanadehi prapanchasya vastu matratvam. Just like when we negated the snake, what remained was only rope. In the same way, when we negate avastu, ajnanadi sakala prapancha we negate, what remains is only that Shuddha Chaitanya. This process of going from manyness to that one absolute cause is called as apavada. And this is what requires lot of sadhana. All other practices that we are doing, the culmination, the supreme most culmination of that, according to Vedanta, is in this apavada. And in whose buddhi this apavada has taken place, that person is Buddha. Means in that intellect, this knowledge has to dawn about apavada. For adhyaropa, sadhana is needed, but not as much for in apavada. Adhyaropa means thinking ourselves to be an individual. Sadhana is needed there to add consciousness. Right? Individual plus consciousness, world plus consciousness. Here, sadhana is needed to remove the conditionings. Not only technically, but in our understanding. Okay? This is simple definition of apavada. Now you see which two words are in the same, vibhakti over here. Vastu vivartasya prapanchasya. Mean this prapancha is vivarta of vastu. Meaning this prapancha is the effect, but actually speaking, it is the cause only appearing as the effect. Vastu vivartasya prapanchasya vastu matratvam. When negation happens, what remains is only that vastu. So now one word was used, Vikara Vivarta. So that Vivarta is explained in 138. Taduktam satatvatonyatha pratha vikara ityudiritah atatvatonyatha prata vivarta ityudiritah. These two are very, very important definition lines. One is definition of Vikara. Second is definition of Vivarta. It will separate Advaita Darshana, Advaita Vedanta Darshana from all other schools of thoughts. So here it is said, if effect is there and that effect has come from a cause, while that effect came from the cause, if the cause has actually undergone some modification, that thing is called as Vikara. Nobody is denying that effect has come from the cause. There are different school of thoughts which say world is nothing but effect of Brahma. But what kind of effect? While undergoing this, effect from the cause to effect, did the cause undergo any change or was it untouched? This is the question. So if the cause has undergone change, then it is called as Vikara. Anyatha prata is always there. Anyatha prata means appearing differently. Cause appears differently as the effect. But what happened to the cause? Was it sa-tattvataha? Sa-tattvataha is the first line. Means has it really undergone any change? If yes, then it is called as Vikara. Sa-tattvataha anyatha prata Vikara iti udiritaha. Udiritaha, it is explained. Atattvataha anyatha prata. The cause appears as effect without undergoing any change. That is called as Vivarta. Atattvataha anyatha prata Vivarta iti udiritaha. And according to Vedanta, we say Prapancha is an effect. Brahma is the cause. But what kind of cause is Brahma? Is it Vikara or is it Vivarta? Is it Vikari Karanam? In other darshana, they say Parinami Karanam or Vivarta Karanam. We say it is Vivarta Karanam. Brahman, without undergoing any change, appears as this entire creation. So now examples will make it clearer. The example of Vikara is yogurt, which is the effect, milk, which is the cause. Milk becomes yogurt by actually undergoing some change. And once that change has happened, you cannot go back. Or if you have to get back that milk, you have to do some kind of karma. Just by knowing that this is milk, you will not get the milk back. Why? Because sa-tattvataha anyatha prata has happened. Milk has really become yogurt. From that, if you want the milk, you will have to do some kind of process. Some karma is needed to go back to milk. Atattvataha anyatha prata. Second line is Vivarta example is sun rays appearing as mirage water. Sun rays appearing as mirage water. How did the sun rays become mirage water? Did they really become transformed or is it only an appearance? We say it is only an appearance. There is no sa-tattvataha anyatha prata. It is only atattvataha anyatha prata. You can take any illusory example. Rope becoming snake. How did that rope become snake? Did it actually undergo some process? Did it actually undergo any modification? We say no. It is only an appearance. But anyatha prata is there. I am seeing it differently, but it is undergoing some change that we cannot say. Atattvataha anyatha prata. First one was sa-tattvataha anyatha prata. Now this part, if we appreciate, a lot of things will become clear in Vedanta. Because in Vedanta we say, if it is Vivarta, if something is Vivarta, it is appearing differently, but it has actually not undergone any change. To obtain that thing, only knowledge is sufficient. And in particular, if that thing is me myself. In that rope snake example, a rope is outside. And that rope appears as snake. If I have to attain that rope back again, what do I need? I need only knowledge. I don't need knowledge plus karma. Right? If at all I have that understanding, then it is erroneous understanding. That now I have known that snake, I have to do something to go and know that, rope. Or you say, I have known that rope. Now I have to do something, some karma is needed by which I will go and attain that rope. We say, no, only knowing that rope is sufficient. The knowledge is that snake was never there to begin with. In the same way, what do I have to do to attain Brahma? If Brahma alone is appearing as this mind, this body, and this entire creation, and Brahma is Vivarta Karanam, meaning this creation, although it is appearing in Brahma, Brahma has not undergone any change. And this creation is nothing but an appearance, just like that snake or that mirage water. What do I have to do to attain that Brahma? Do I need knowledge or do I need knowledge plus karma? Only knowledge, huh? But it is not that easy. Because in our understanding, somewhere this thought goes and sits, in particular for mind. That I have known this mind is an effect, it is nothing but an appearance, and I am that pure consciousness. But still we feel there is some kind of karma which is needed, by which one day this mind will become fully quietened, and something will happen by which I will go and gain that Chaitanya. And Vedanta is saying everything is here and now because it is Vivarta. And the beauty of Vivarta is the appearance, Anyatha Pratha, can still continue. We are not insisting on non-perception. It is not apratha. It is Anyatha Pratha. We are not insisting on non-perception. The twisted perception, if you want to say, that can always continue. Erroneous perception, it can always continue, but knowledge will negate that thing. Right? Just like once you have put that light on that rope, snake idea is removed, but still if you turn off that light and again it is semi-dark, you will still continue to see something like that snake. Mirage water also, once you know it is mirage water, perception doesn't stop. So Anyatha Pratha can still continue, meaning what? Desha can still continue. Buddhi will still continue. Vyavahara will still continue. But in and through that, this sadhaka is able to recognize Nirvikara Brahma, which is Vivarta Karanam of this entire Jagat. So where does Apavada really happen? Apavada happens in Buddhi. Even if we say Apavada of Desha, Apavada of Desha is not Vinasha of Desha. Right? We don't have to destroy anything. We just have to know that thing as it is. In particular, when it is Vivarta Karana. So our idea should be, I am that Chaitanya in which Desha is appearing. Not the other way around. I am Desha trying to look for Chaitanya. I am that Chaitanya in which Desha is appearing. Not only this Desha, this entire creation, which is Thula, that is appearing in this Chaitanya. That is why Janak Maharaj's name was Videharaj Janak. Videha means one who has done Apavada of Desha, not after giving up this body, while living in this body. So that is Videha. That is being said in this Apavada Prakriya. But these two terms are clear, right? Vivarta and Vikara. Vikara means really undergoing change. like milk to yogurt, Vivarta means without undergoing any change, it appears differently. Okay, example is snake and rope. Means Vivarta will always be Vishama Satta. The cause and effect will be in two different degrees of reality. This also you can mark. It's a different definition of Vivarta and Vikara. In Vivarta, cause and effect will be two different degrees of reality. In Vikara, cause and effect will be same degree of reality. Milk and yogurt, they are same degree of reality, same levels of existence. In philosophy, they say same ontological status. Looks very fancy word, but we say it is samasatta, same degree of reality, that is Vikara. If cause and effect are different degrees of reality, different levels of existence, that is Vivarta. So rope is one degree of reality, snake is another degree of reality. Okay. Brahma is one degree of reality. Mind, Ajnana, this entire creation is different degree of reality. More we think in this way, better or more closer we are to Advaita Vedanta Darshan. Vishama Satta, not doing anything to that other entity. It is only negating that other entity as Mithya. Working on that entity, making this Mana as Suman. Suman means beautiful mind. That is part of sadhana. Knowing that mind of Amana. In Mandukya Upanishad it is said, Amani Bhava. Knowing this mind as nothing but consciousness. That is part of Vedanta. Now that same step, same goal with intermediate step is defined here. Okay, now Apavada was defined. What is Vivarta is defined. Now the first step in that Apavada is defined. 139. Tathahi etad bhogayatanam chaturvidha sakala sthula sharira jatam bhogya rupa annapanadikam etad ayatana bhuta bhuradi chaturdasha bhuvanani etad ayatana bhutam brahmandam cha etat sarvam etesham karana rupam panchikruta bhutamatram bhavati. The first step in Apavada Prakriya, Swamiji says, look at this whole world and notice how much of variety is there. Names are there, forms are there, different things we are seeing. But pay close attention to their karana. If you pay close attention to their karana, what you will find is only Pancha Mahabhuta. Panchikrita Pancha Mahabhuta, the grossified five elements, they alone are appearing as all of these names and forms. Think about it. Look at any object around. All you will find is safe way. Space, air, fire, water, earth. Combination of that is what makes this whole world of names and forms. So in Apavada, the first step of Apavada is to dissolve Nama Rupa into Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. That is what is mentioned. Tathahi etad bhogayatanam. Etad bhogayatanam means, ayatanam means adhara, support. Support of bhoga. What is support of bhoga? Stula sharira. Etad bhogayatanam chaturvida sakala stula sharira jatam. All the four types of stula shariras, Andaja, Udbija, Jarayuja, Swedaja, born out of moisture, the things we had seen before, right? Born out of hatching an egg, and so on. He says all this type of sthula sharira, they are included in bhogayatana. Ayatana word means support. Okay, bhogayatana means support of bhoga. Such a nice word. Sharira, another word is bhogayatana. That which becomes adhara for bhoga, that is this bhogayatana. Then bhogya rupa. Bhokta is there and bhogya is there. What is bhogya? Bhogya rupa annapanadikam. Anna, one literal meaning is grain. But in Upanishad it is said, adyate atticha bhutani. The one who is eating and that which is eaten, both are called as annam. Adyate means that which is eaten. Atti means the one who is eating. Both are called as annam. Why? Because this sharira becomes annam for somebody else. And Gurudev used to say in one place that when human beings are walking, right, the vultures and everything, they are going on top. They feel, this is nice annam. So it works in both ways. Annam is entire creation, gross world. That is this bhogya rupa. Annapanadikam etad ayatana bhuta. Now again, this is ayatana bhuta, support for experiences. What is that? Bhuhu adi iti chaturdasha bhuvanani. Starting from bhuloka, all the 14 worlds which are there. 7 up, 7 down. But not like a tiffin carrier. It's a different levels of freedom which are there, different bhogas. This we had seen earlier. Now you see adhyaropa, all parts are coming back. So whenever I hear the word sthula, it should include sthula sharira, not only my sthula sharira, all other sthula shariras, different organisms which are there, and this bhogya jagat, not only this world, but 14 worlds, all of that is sthula sharira jatam. Bhuvanani etad ayatana bhutam brahmandam cha etat sarvam etesham karana rupam. So much of variety is there when it comes to physical body, when it comes to the world outside. But if you look at the karana rupa of all these names and forms is panchikruta bhutamatram bhavati. The karana of this variety of names and forms is panchikruta panchamahabhuta. Some people might feel this is very dry. What is this? All nama rupa, so much of variety is there. And you are saying this is only panchikruta panchamahabhuta. But actually speaking, it opens up many things for a sadhaka. He says, how much fascination do I have for space? How much fascination do we have for air, fire, water, earth? Individual elements, we have no fascination. But if those 5 elements get combined and becomes nama rupa, he says for that nama rupa there is so much of raga. He says this is called as moha. Right? Individually, if they are not appealing, and if they mix up together, then it becomes something attractive. He says that is only because of moha. So this is one sadhana. No matter what variety is there, boil it down to 5 elements. Panchikruta panchamahabhuta. Now in this verse, do you find any interesting word over here? You can type it also. Any word that you found interesting in this whole. I'll give you a clue. In the last 4 words, cha etat sarvam etesham karana rupam panchikruta bhutamatram bhavati. And 4 words are there, right? You can pick just one word and say that was interesting to you. Okay, karana rupam, somebody said. Karana, okay. Good. You can explain any word as interesting. The word to pay attention to is bhavati. Bhavati means this is a matter of fact right now. Not bhavishyati. Means apavada is not going to happen in a future time. Nama Rupa switching to Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta, they say it is a matter of fact right now. Even the later part of Apavada is like that. It is Bhavati only. If my attention is on Nama Rupa, I fail to recognize Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. It is just like you have a wooden lion and my attention is only on the lion. I fail to recognize the wood. So how much time does it take for me to go do Apavada of lion and go into wood? He says, no, it is already the fact. There is only wood, lion is only a name and form. In the same way, this creation is name and form, but really speaking, it is Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. This is already a matter of fact. So Apavada is not in Bhavishya Kala, it's not in future tense, it is right here, right now. Okay, so this was first Apavada, starting from Nama Rupa to Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. Now, second step of Apavada, Etani Shabdadi Vishaya Sahitani Panchikritani Bhutani Sukshma Sharira Jatam Cha Etat Sarvam Etesham Karana Rupa Apanchikrita Bhuta Matram Bhavati. This is another very powerful Apavada step. If we get it, something new will open up in our drishti of Jagat. You see what Swamiji is saying? Etani Shabdadi Vishaya Sahitani. All of this Shabdadi Vishaya, what we just boiled down, right? From Nama Rupa we came to Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta. Panchikritani Bhutani. All these 5 elements, grossified 5 elements. Sukshma Sharira Jatam Cha Etat Sarvam. All of these 5 elements are really speaking nothing but subtle 5 elements. Means you are dissolving now gross 5 elements into their own respective tanmatras, subtle 5 elements. But how am I supposed to do it? How can I take Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta back to subtle elements? I say we don't have to do it. Just observe how that gross 5 elements are being perceived. Although, let's say I'm seeing a mango. Mango is easy, you can take any example because it has all 5 qualities. First one is fragrance is there, right? Although I'm seeing the mango, eyes have nothing to do with the fragrance. Okay, nose is taking the fragrance inside, but it is not taking it as Panchikrita Gandha. What is taking inside is only Sukshma. So the very existence of outside things are known only when that thing becomes a thought. Any jiva, you say, okay, I'm not knowing it, somebody else is knowing it. Even that person will know through Ghanendriya only. But what is happening there? Sthula is becoming Sukshma. Now taste is there in that mango, right? So ears, eyes, they have nothing to do with that taste. Rasanendriya will take that taste. But it will take it, when it goes inside, it will be Sukshma. Then shape is there. Shape belongs to fire. Eyes will take that shape and it will take it as Sukshma. Means I'm seeing that mango outside, but really what I'm interacting with is thoughts. But what about the distance? Right? Mango is outside, thought is inside. He says distance is also a thought. Bahyata in Vedanta is also a vritti. Just like in dream. right? In dream, there is also inside and outside, but that inside and outside is also a thought. So here also, although this mango is outside, it says dissolve that Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta into Sukshma Panchamahabhuta. And the way to do that is pay attention to how perception is happening. Panchikruta is being perceived by this mind through sense organs as a Panchikruta only. So what did this adhyaropa of Panchikaranam accomplish? It only made us shift attention from Nama Rupa to Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta. See, Panchikaranam was not to say that there is real world outside. Panchikaranam was not to establish this point that world is real, that actually things have become grossified and things are present over there. That will actually go against what we want to say in Vedanta. Right? Vedanta wants to say this whole creation is an appearance in Jagat. Panchikaranam was to make sure that adhyaropa happens systematically and we are able to shift attention from Nama Rupa to 5 elements. Now from that gross 5 elements, we are coming to subtle 5 elements. And how are we doing that? Just by paying attention to this process of perception. Sukshma sharira jatam cha etat sarvam etesham karana rupa apanchikruta bhuta matram bhavati. This Jagat that we see as Sthula, I have to dissolve it into Sukshma. Why? Because Sthula's existence is established only when Sukshma Prapancha is there. So Raman Maharshi elaborates this particular verse in Saddarshanam. He says, Shabdadi Rupam Bhuvanam Samastam. Raman Maharshi doesn't see world as chair, pillar, mic, harmonium, television. He says, no, all of this is only Shabdadi Rupam. Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta, those are this variety of creation is these 5 elements. Shabdadi Rupam Bhuvanam Samastam. Shabdadi Satyendriya Vritti Bhasyaha. Shabdadi has got satta only when they get illumined by sense organs. Shabdadi Satyendriya Vritti Bhasyaha. Satyendriyanam Manaso Vashesyat. Sense organs are getting their satta only when mind is there. Therefore, his conclusion is Manomayam Tat Bhuvanam Vadama. World is available to me only when mind is there. World is available to me only when mind is there. So this is one part of adhyaropa, one step of adhyaropa, where Sthula Jagat is dissolved into Sukshma Jagat. More and more this sadhaka thinks on this point that Jagat is not appearing outside. At least this point we can understand it is known, recognized through Buddhi. It's a different discussion whether it is outside and it is seen inside, or it is really inside and it is seen inside. Two different things, right? One thing could be it is outside really, but I am seeing it inside. But second is, it is inside only and I am seeing it inside. What do you think is true? One or two? Online, you can type it. It is outside and seen inside. It is inside and seen inside. Some of you are hesitant to type. Second one. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. Pashyan atmani mayaya bahirivot bhutam yatha nidraya. Dakshinamurti Stotram. He says, how is this Jagat? This Jagat is something, it is like a mirror. It is seen in that place where it is not. Okay, that is one analogy of that mirror. Or in other words, it is there somewhere and it is seen somewhere else. meaning it is actually there in Chaitanya. It is appearing in Chaitanya. But because of avidya, it appears to be outside. Pashyan atmani, maya bahirivod udbhutam. Because of maya, it appears to be outside. That is why it has to be understood in the right way. But if you want to think about it logically, look at it this way, that even the concept of bahyata, concept of being outside, that also is a thought. That also is a thought, just like in dream. Right? Dream also, things are outside, there is distance, we are talking, doing so many things. But all of that is in Chaitanya only. So where have we come now? From Nama Rupa we dissolved into Sthula Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta. From that we came to Sukshma Panchamahabhuta. From there we have to go now to Karana Avastha. From Maya alone everything had come. 5 elements had come. Now that 5 elements are dissolving back into Maya. Etani Satvadi Guna Sahitani Apanchikritani Utpatti Vyutkramena Utpatti Vyutkramena Etat Karanabhuta Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya Matram Bhavati. Etani refers to just the previous one, Apanchikruta Bhuta Matrani. All these 5 elements which are in ungrossified subtle form, which is otherwise also called as Tanmatra, Tat Matra. They are in their ungrossified form. Etani Satvadi Guna Sahitani. They have Sattva, Rajas and Tamo Guna. I hope you all remember the creation process what we discussed. From Sattva Guna of Akasha, Shrotrindriya came. Sattva Guna of all 5 elements, what came? Sattva Guna of all 5 elements. Antahkarana. Antahkarana. Mind also you can say, but Antahkarana came from Sattva Guna. From Rajoguna, individual Rajogunas, Karmendriyas came. Samashti Rajoguna, Panchaprana came. And Tamoguna, gross world came. Panchikaranam was explained there. But 5 elements, all of these things happened there. That's why Swamiji is reminding us, Sattvadi Guna Sahitani. Don't forget that these 5 elements have Sattva, Rajas and Tamas Guna also. Introduction to those 5 elements is like this. Sattvadi Guna Sahitani. Apanchikrutani. They are ungrossified. Utpatti Vyutkramena. The reverse order. Vyutkrama means Viparita Krama. In reverse order, when you dissolve it, Etat Karana Bhuta Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya Matram Bhavati. These subtle elements which are there, they are nothing but that pure consciousness conditioned by ignorance. Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya Matram. So what is Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya Matram? According to adhyaropa prakriya, Prajna. Prajna. Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya is Prajna. At Vyashti level it is Prajna, Samashti level it is Ishvara. So if you just replace that word Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya with Bhagavan, how will that statement be? All of these subtle elements which are seen, they are nothing but Bhagavan only. And all of those subtle elements which are there, all the gross elements which are there, they are nothing but subtle elements. All Nama Rupas which are there, they are nothing but Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta. So finally, all of this is nothing but Bhagavan. This is Bhakti Darshana. We have not gone to Advaita Vedanta yet. Why? Because there is Ajnanam also, there is Ajnana Karyam also, but there is Chaitanya also. But this sadhaka's attention is not on manyness now. Sadhaka's attention is on that one cause, Karana Avastha, which he calls as Bhagavan. So now you see in Bhagavatam, in Ramayana, this same Siddhanta will be given in a sweet form. Here it is given in a very technical way, right? All of this Sukshma Sharira is nothing but Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya. In Ramcharitmanas, when the two messengers come to Dashrath Maharaj, Dashrath Maharaj asks them, have you seen my two sons? Because he wants to make sure that he has really seen them. What do the two messengers say? Deva dekitava balakado, abana akitara avatako. After having seen your two sons, nothing else is coming in front of my eyes. Abana akitara avatako. Means what? After knowing that Bhagwan is appearing as his entire creation, I cannot unsee him now. If at all I'm unseeing, it is only because I'm getting distracted. It's just like saying this whole harmonium is wood. Now, if you have understood that, try to unsee the wood in this harmonium. Right? When is that possible? Only when I'm interested in playing it. Right? I'm interested in some vyavahara, some nama rupa. That will not allow me to focus on that wood. But otherwise, this is Bhakti Darshana. Without telling that this is Apavada, they have already come to a point which is boiling down all Nama Rupa to one Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan whom I worship as one form, Eka Rupa, he alone is appearing as this Sarva Rupa. Okay. Chaitanya Matram Bhavati. So Bhavati word keeps coming. Means what? It is here and now. Bhagavad Darshan, if somebody has to have, they say look at it right here, right now. From that Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya, everything which is Sukshma is rising. If you want to look at it differently, we are familiar with BMI chart, right? We have Om, we have V, which is Vasanas, body, mind, and intellect. And then we have objects, emotions, and thoughts. Objects are sthula. There is so much of variety. Boiled down to thoughts. Mind and intellect, thoughts and emotions. So that is subtle part. But even there, if you pay attention, where are thoughts rising from? Thoughts are rising, that we know. And most of the times, our attention is not even on thoughts, it's on objects. But at least if attention comes on thoughts, the next process of Apavada is, where is this thought rising from? Then we will go to this Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya. Attention will go there. This is what is the cause of all of this Sukshma Jagat. Sukshma and Sthula also, but immediate effect is Sukshma. Then what are you left with now? Consciousness and Ajnana. Ajnana is conditioning, Upadhi. Consciousness conditioned by this Ajnanam becomes conditioned consciousness. Ajnana Upahita Chaitanya. And what we are interested in is Shuddha Chaitanya. So until this darshana, until this point, many other darshanas are together with Vedanta. But now, Advaita Vedanta is showing its apurvata, the uniqueness of Advaita Vedanta. That is this next line. Etad ajnanam, ajnana upahitam, chaitanyam, cha ishwaradikam, etat adharabhuta, anupahita chaitanya rupam, turiyam brahmamatram bhavati. Etad ajnanam, this ajnanam, which we just discussed in the previous verse, ajnana upahita chaitanyam and ajnana upahita chaitanya, the consciousness which is conditioned by ajnanam, cha ishwaradikam etat. Both these things, they are really Both these things means Prajna and Ishvara. Both of them are having their adharabhuta, having their support in that anupahita Chaitanya. Meaning what? The conditioning and conditioned consciousness are really taking support in that unconditioned consciousness. It is just like saying the tree and the space conditioned by the tree. You remember that example? Tree and forest example, right? The tree and the space conditioned by the tree. The forest and the space conditioned by the forest, both are taking support in total space. That total space is Anupahita Chaitanya. Conditioned space is Upahita Chaitanya. Conditioning is Upadhi. These three words, more we get familiar with it, more it can become part of our thinking. Whenever we meet a person, we should interact with them at three levels. Right? One is Upadhi level. Another is Upahita level. And third is Anupahita level. Right? Upadhi level, there might be so many differences. And Upadhi level interaction is always according to Dharma. Always according to Dharma. At Upadhi level, we cannot have Advaita. Right? Upadhi level, maximum we can do is dissolve into Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta. But even then, we will have Dharma as the guiding rule. Upahita Chaitanya level, that is at the level of devotion. Because all these reflections are coming from that same Lord. All jivas who are there, they are like these sparks coming from that same conflagration of fire. So that is at Upahita Chaitanya level. There is sambandha with all jivas as bhaktas. And then Anupahita Chaitanya is pure consciousness. There is no manyness. He says, I alone am appearing as this person. But when I say I should let go of my upadhi, my conditionings. And when I say this person, I should also let go of upadhi and upahita Chaitanya. Okay. Etad adharabhuta anupahita Chaitanya rupam turiyam brahmamatram bhavati. Now what is remaining is only turiya. But somebody might ask a question here. He says, you had Agyanam. And previous to that, you had Sukshma. Before that, you had Sthula. And you gave this prakriya, right? You said when you are perceiving Sthula, that Sthula is understood as Sukshma. Or Sthula is recognized as Sukshma only. That's why dissolve that Sthula into Sukshma. Now you said, look at Sukshma, it is actually Karana only. So you dissolved Sukshma into Karana. Now how are you dissolving Ajnanam in Brahma? And even if you dissolve, how do you establish Advaita? Right? Because there are certain darshanas which say there is consciousness also and there is Ajnanam also. They say both are real and both are infinite, but they are independent. And what does Vedanta say? Ajnanam is unreal, consciousness is real. So I'll just give one indicator, you can think more upon it. To establish this point, to establish Advaitam, there is one thing we need to ask. It's rooted in the word adharabhutam. Based upon that, we should question. Everything needs an adhara. Just like Sthula needed adhara of Sukshma. Sukshma needed adhara of Ajnanam. Adhara means support. Where does Ajnanam take support? Where can it take support? Okay, option 1. In Desha. In Desha means in the world outside. Wherever space is there, Ajnanam can go and stay there. Is it possible? Ajnanam staying somewhere in Desha. Why? Desha itself is karya of Ajnanam. Right? So Ajnanam cannot again go back and stay in its own effect. Karya means effect. So second option is Buddhi. If it's not outside, let's directly come inside. I say Ajnanam lives in Buddhi. Can Ajnanam live in Buddhi? This Ajnanam, remember, we are not talking about worldly Ajnanam. We are not talking about ignorance of physics, ignorance of math, ignorance of Chinese language. Not that ignorance. We are talking about ignorance defined in 49th verse. Sadasadbhyam anirvachaniyam. Ignorance about the higher reality. Maya or Karana Upadhi, that ignorance. Can that ignorance live in Buddhi? But you apply the same, it can live, and there are school of thoughts which say it does live in Buddhi. But we say, Buddhi itself is Ajnana Karya. Means Buddhi is effect of Ajnanam. So the cause cannot go and live in the effect. Or at least it cannot take support in the effect. Right? Space cannot take support in earth. Earth takes support in space. Right? So here also, Ajnanam does not take or cannot live in Buddhi. So what is the option left? The only adhara for Ajnanam is Chaitanya. Now careful, huh? Very interesting point is there. Ajnanam cannot take support in Desha or anything in this creation, not even in Buddhi. It has to take support in Chaitanya. What is the nature of Chaitanya? Chaitanya is Chaitanya Matra, Sadrupa. There is nothing else which is there in this Chaitanya. Now, if something is appearing in a locus where it is not, if something is appearing in a locus where it is not, that thing is called as Mithya. If something is appearing in a locus where it is not, that thing is called as Mithya. Therefore, Ajnanam becomes Mithya. Therefore, Advaitam becomes Satyam. So this is a logical thing. It makes our thinking very thorough. I came to Ajnanam, but how did you suddenly say Turiyam Brahma Matram Bhavati? Right? Ajnanam was also there. How did you dissolve Ajnanam into Brahma and say there is Turiya alone? You said pay attention to the word Adharabhutam. Adharabhutam means Ajnanam also should have Adhara. Think about what this Ajnanam can have Adhara. Not its Karya, not its effect. So only thing other than this Ajnanam is Brahma. But when you look at the nature of Brahma, it is Kevala, it is Shuddha. Upanishad mantras will help us understand nature of Brahma. So if Brahma is like that and Ajnanam is taking Adhara in that Brahma, if it is appearing in a locus where it is not, this is that appearance we call as Mithya. So snake is appearing in a locus where it is not. That's why it is Mithya. Mirage water also same thing. Okay. So with this, we have completed Apavada now. So simple, right? 4 verses, everything done. But it should come to Turiya Matram. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.